Hi, John.
Hey, Sam. Oh,
What were you
boy.
breathing in for there?
I was flinching. I was ready.
What are you, that's weird.
Yeah, no, just a nice,
What do you want to do today on the old
peaceful
pod?
podcast. I was thinking we perhaps review chapter 45 through 50 of our new favorite novel,
Well, that's one
The Way
idea.
of Kings.
But
by
I was
Brandon
thinking maybe
Sanderson.
we could do something else today.
Oh, okay. Like what?
I didn't have anything in mind.
Oh, okay, sure. Let's talk about the
Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens.
Okay, that'll be this
Yeah,
day's podcast.
I think they got a really promising 2020 season. They've really been bulking up their defense. Lamar Jackson and that offense last year was so explosive.
No, I was just talking about the bird Ravens in
The
Baltimore. Okay.
Let's just do the book.
Let's do the book. Hey, lots went on this week.
Oh my goodness, so many things.
I swear, there were like more tense
was
moments.
on the edge of my seat.
I was more stressed out this week, I think, than like every
Yeah.
other week put together.
Right. Things finally happened in Shallan's chapters. That was new.
Yeah, Shallan was like a
Actual
player.
plot.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Incredible.
Geez, I mean, let's speed through our summary, huh? So we can
Sure
actually
thing,
talk
sure
about this
thing.
stuff.
Yep. So in chapter 45, it's a Shallan Yesna chapter.
She's stolen the thing that happened last time.
Yep.
The Fabrial, the Soulcaster.
Yep.
And now she is planning on actually fleeing with it. She has a boat coming to pick her up. And at this point, like a day, it's coming tomorrow or something?
Yeah, something like that, yeah. She tells Kabsal that she's getting out of there.
She has a talk with Kabsal. He's like, maybe we should get married, or maybe that's later. I don't remember. Either way,
Yeah.
she's not interested. Oh no, how is she gonna tell Yasna that she wants to leave? She needs to like pretend to start getting really overwhelmed by the studies or something.
Right.
But
Need
then
some
she's
plan.
bad at that, and it's kind of a lore dump, honestly.
Yeah.
In this part, we learn a lot about things. Oh wait, and then
same chapter.
oh, this all happened in this chapter.
Yeah,
oh my
that was
God,
a
this
long
was the
chapter.
crazy one. Okay.
Yeah, so Kabsal's like, well, draw a picture of me before you go. And she was like, sure thing. And then she does. And then he's like, now draw a picture of both of us. And she's like, okay, sure thing.
Yep.
But then, those spooky figures are in there again.
Geometric faces in the background.
Yep.
Oh no! And she's like, oh my God! I was briefly maybe cool with what, like I was kind of coming at peace with things while I was drawing.
Right.
But now that this showed up, I'm starting to get stressed out by everything all at once. I'm gonna run away from everything. She's like running and then turning around and drawing pictures while she runs. And she sees these geometric face people, like more
chasing
and
after
more
her.
of them in each picture,
Yeah.
like accumulating around her. It's very spooky.
So she gets back into her room, shuts the door or whatever, and then locks it, and then she jumps in her bed and she draws the thing, and they're all around her, and she reaches out and she feels something, freaks out, oh geez.
Gets plunged into some sort of weird dream
Mystical
state,
marble
alternate
dimension.
All the objects are now marbles.
Yeah.
She grabs one marble who's like, do you want me to change? I want to change. Change me, Shallan. And she's like, oh!
I don't
and
know.
it turns out it was the goblet on the table next
Holding
to
her money, yeah.
that had... And she changed it into blood by channeling Stormlight into it, but not on purpose.
Yeah. So she soul casts the goblin into blood by accident, but now Yasna's gonna come in. She's like, what was that noise?
And the chalice turned into a sizable amount of blood, which is gonna like come leaking out under the door.
Right.
Any second now.
And so Shallan's like, I know how to fix this. Cuts her wrist.
Cuts her wrist. Oh,
jeez.
Oh, I hate that.
And then Yasna busts in. She's like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, man. Shallan attempted suicide. Jeez. Yep. All right, and that's that chapter.
Yep.
Wow, that one was crazy. That was like,
yeah,
that felt like half the reading, honestly.
Yeah.
And then we go to Kaladin, right?
Who starts out, and
he's
like,
having a weird storm dream.
Yeah.
Kind of like Dalinar does.
Kind of like Dalinar, yeah.
Where he is the
high storm, yeah.
He's flying up all over the land, looking down on all this stuff. He sees Seth's son Villano killing two people
Yep.
in some city that's triangle-y shaped.
Yeah.
Did we learn about that? Did Kabsal tell us which one was triangle-y shaped?
Yeah, I think he did. I don't remember which it was.
Me neither.
But I do remember a triangle, yeah. And then there's
geez, wow.
And then there's a weird voice that speaks to him.
Child of Tanavast, child of honor, child of one long since departed. The oath pact was shattered. Men ride the storms no longer. The oath pact was broken, child of honor. Odium comes, most dangerous of all the 16. You will now go. Why must we fight, says Kaladin. Odium reigns.
Well, we'll discuss that in a bit.
Yeah, but it's just silent.
Yeah. So then, the voice talks to him, whatever, and then he wakes up, and he wakes up to everybody, like, trying to hold him down because he tried to walk out into the high storm.
And he beats them all up a
Yeah,
little,
beats them all up.
And then he sees Adolin out in the camp.
Yeah, that's right. Has a run-in with him.
Because one of
Saddeus's
officers was abusing some poor woman, some prostitute woman.
Yep.
And Adolin came along and was like, "I'm heroic." Stop
Right,
that.
yeah, and then he
and
pulls
Kaladin,
a shard blade, and the guy's like,
Kaladin
"Ugh."
was like, "I still hate you just because you're light eyes because I'm become blind, but due to my hatred."
Blinded by rage.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and that's that.
That's that one pretty much. Okay.
And then
And
the
now-
next one is Old Kaladin.
But it's not that old now.
Yeah,
it's quite
only a
recent.
year ago.
A year ago. And when
Yeah.
we first saw Kaladin, that was only 8 months ago, wasn't it? Or was that 4 months ago?
4 years ago?
No. When we first saw Kaladin, he was in the slave cart.
Yes.
Non-flashback Kaladin.
Right.
Was that was 8 months after whatever had happened, right?
I think so.
So I guess now by that timeline, if this flashback was a year ago, this flashback was pretty much exactly
4 months.
This was like that 8 months before.
Yes. You're right.
When he was talking about like I've been a slave for 8 months. That 8 months ago was like this day maybe plus 1 or 2.
Right. And so now he's done all this bridge stuff for like 2 months or whatever.
4 months for it to be a year.
Right. Yes. 4. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay.
Math.
So, Kaladin, he's in the past now. He's back in Amram's army.
Yep.
And now we're seeing that the very first chapter where it was Sen, right? Remember?
Yep.
Now we're just seeing that same chapter from Kaladin's
Just the end of that chapter, yeah. Well, yeah, I guess the whole thing. So he's
so that was
like,
kinda fun.
and oh boy, he did sure kill that shard bearer, huh? Our suspicions were.
Yep, he straight up killed him
correct.
very hard, and he doesn't want the shard blade because he had just watched it kill all of his men.
Yep.
So it was like, you know.
Yeah, he was like, nope. He was like, hey, buddy, Caleb
And they're like,
or whatever.
are you sure? This incredible weapon that'll make you a sung hero for years to come, worth kingdoms, and he's like,
No.
Yeah, no. Okay, and that's that chapter.
Yep.
Now we're back to
Shallan in a hospital after her
hospital, waking up.
faked suicide attempt.
Taravangian comes around to say hi. Yesna comes around to say hi. Kabsal comes around to say hi. Kabsal's like, I brought bread and jam. Do you want some? Sure. You should have some too, Yesna. I don't want any. Yesna, come
Just
on.
try the
I just
bread.
died pretty much.
Come on.
So she has some bread, and then, whoopsie daisy, they're getting poisoned now.
Oh, jeez.
And Kabsal dies.
Yep.
And Shallan
Nearly dies.
almost dies, but Yesna soul casts her blood.
Yeah.
Boy.
And she's like, wait, you can't do that. The soul caster's in here. And Yesna's like, what's wrong?
The jam tastes very bad. Yeah, Shallan reveals that she has the soul caster. We go back to Kaladin. He's training people down in a pit. Well, it's down in the chasms.
Right, yep.
That's
They're on
pretty much that
chasm
whole
duty.
chapter.
Yep.
We go back to Shallan. Now Shallan's in a hospital again for a different reason. Because this time it's because she was like poisoned and had her blood all soul cast.
Yep.
And Yesna comes in and is basically just like, you're such a stupid idiot. I can't believe I trusted you. I can't believe I had faith in you. And Shallan's like, I
I'm
do
the worst.
suck.
Yeah.
I do suck.
Yep.
And Shallan, at the end of that chapter, is resigned to just head back to her brothers empty-handed. You know,
just failed at everything.
She's like, well, at least Shallan is cool enough to let me like walk out of this alive, or Yesna's cool enough to let me walk out of this alive, because she could have just had me. I tried to rob her, right, of this incredibly valuable artifact.
Yep.
So she's like, yeah, I'll take what I can get. All right, whoops.
Bye.
Yep. And then we go back to the very last chapter
351,
of
Part 3.
Very last chapter, Part 3. I think this is the last thing we're going to see in Kaladin's flashbacks, right? I think we're probably done with Kaladin flashbacks after this, because like, what else happened? And in this one, Amram comes in. It's like, hey there, just checking in. Kaladin's like in a hospital bed. He's like, wow, you really saved my life, didn't you? Kaladin's like, I guess I did. Amram's like, here's that shard blade. And Kaladin's like,
I noticed you forgot that.
I do not want it. I stand by the fact I don't want it. Give it to my men. They'll do good with it, right? Yep. And Amram's like, oh, whoopsie, I'm accidentally slipping my guards' knives into your men. Oh,
right,
no.
they're all dead.
They're all dropping their swords onto your men.
Right,
they're all die.
Yep, and he's like, you were supposed to be one of the good ones. What's the deal with all this?
Amram's like, oh, whoopsie daisy.
Yeah, he's like,
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I really can't help you here. I'm going to take the shard blade if that's cool, because you don't want it. And
he had to kill his men so that the word wouldn't get out.
Right.
And everyone had to believe, in Amram's words, that he was the one who killed the shard bearer.
Yep.
Right? So Amram has all of Kaladin's men killed. He's like, Kaladin, I do realize that I owe you an extreme life debt, so I'm only going to make you a slave.
Right. I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to make you a slave, call you a deserter.
It's going to be very
It'll
cool.
be awesome.
Yeah. So
cool stuff.
That's how Kaladin became a slave. All that stuff he was saying earlier about how you can't trust light eyes. It's about the gifts they don't give you, or whatever those lines were.
They get more angry if you reject their gifts or something. Yeah.
So yeah, now we know why Kaladin hates light eyes so much.
Yep.
Even the good ones are bad, it turns out.
Yep.
And that ends the part 3. Oh
wow, we are cooking.
Zowie, we just got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of lore. We got a lot of action. We're gonna have to speed through this, John, if we want to get through this in any reasonable amount of time.
What do you mean?
Because there's a lot happened. We're gonna have to talk fast.
Yes, through this.
Right?
I thought you were like, we got to read through the end of the book faster. Yeah, no, I bought the second book, and they tried to deliver it to our house on Friday, but nobody was here to sign for. Well, people were here to sign for it, but we didn't hear them or something.
What?
And so now it's at the post office, I guess.
Why don't they just leave it on our doorstep?
I don't know.
All right.
So I gotta go get it.
Whatever.
But anyway.
All right, let's read some pre-chapter thingies, shall we?
That sounds great.
Yelignar, called Blightwind, was once that could speak like a man. Oh my God, I'm reading this poorly. Was one that could speak like a man. Though often his voice was accompanied by the wails of those he consumed. The unmade were obviously fabrications of folklore. Curiously, most were not considered individuals, but instead personifications of kinds of destruction.
Whoa!
Okay, so this concept of the unmade.
You're
this
right.
is a new thing. We have not heard about this before.
Yeah.
Yelignar is one of them. The Blightwind. It makes a note that he can speak like a man, which means some of them can't, I guess.
Right, yeah.
How many are there? We don't know. He consumes people. Okay. They say the unmade were obviously fabrications of folklore. I doubt it. Why would Brandon Sanderson tell us about them if they weren't important somehow? They're gonna be real.
Not some silly world building nonsense.
Personifications of kinds of destruction.
Whoa.
It's gonna be cool, dude.
Yep.
It's gonna be cool. I'm sure we'll learn more about that later.
Think of these like the nobodies from Kingdom Hearts, you know?
Do you think any of the characters already introduced are the unmade?
Maybe that. Well, no, that collector guy was something else.
Axes, the collector?
Yeah.
He did not seem like a personification of a type of destruction.
No, I suppose not.
He was just kind of a quirky guy.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Oh well.
Not that I can think of.
Okay, so in this, we start out with just a big lore dump, right?
Mm-hmm.
First, they're talking about Gavilar back when he was exploring the Shattered Plains, finding the Parshendi for the first time. Yep. They talk about that. They talk about the Voidbringers, which he also is researching. They talk about thru, right? All right, so let's just go through some of that.
Sure. So first thing I have is just that the Parshendi told the Alethi about the Chasm Fiends. They were like, yeah, they got these big old gem hearts, pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, they're our gods, but we don't like them very much.
No, it was weird. Like the way they were talking about them. Well, when they were talking about their gods, the quote in the book was like the way they described them. They sounded like larger chasm fiends or something like that.
Oh, really?
And it sounded like the Alethi took it to mean that they were talking about the chasm fiends, but like to me that sounded like it might have been a misinterpretation or an assumption on their part.
Okay, yeah, I was confused.
I think it's possible the chasm fiends were never their gods, and that's just what the Alethi believe.
Okay.
When they were introduced to Parshmen, the first thing they asked was, "Where is their music?"
Oh yeah, that's right.
All right, wow.
And I mean, they did mention how all the Parshendi are just kind of like singing all the time, and they would run into another group of Parshendi singing like the exact same thing and just slight differences in like rhythm or tempo.
Yeah,
or
they
whatever.
have some sort of musical hive mind thing going on.
Yep.
And again, they always sing in battle, so you know they sing.
Mm-hmm.
The Parshendi do not fear the high storms. It was like, what do you do in high storms? It's like, well, if our buildings get knocked over, we just build them again.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. Like,
that's kind of silly.
So, I guess they just survive high storms just fine.
Yep.
They have marbled black and red or white and red skin.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize those were the options. But,
yep. And then some of the things about the Voidbringer. So first of all, Yesna's got that weird title. I didn't write it down. It starts with a V.
First Italian.
Yeah. And so what that is as opposed to a historian, she studies all the history, but then tries to reconstruct it, not by like the viewpoint of the winners so much as just like as it objectively happened or whatever.
Yeah, I think most historians probably think they're also telling the truth, though.
Yeah.
So it sounds like she's just a pretentious historian. That's honestly what I took out of it.
Right. I was like, what's the difference? And that's what it is, I guess. So, they mentioned that Voidbringers might be evil spren that infect people's minds and make them do terrible things. Who knows?
That was among...
That
was in a quote where it was like, there are some people who believe it's this. There are some people who claim that whatever. And I'm like, these are incongruous. These cannot all be true. So
Right.
I kind of
Just glossed over all of them.
glossed
yeah.
over those. Yeah.
I just like that one because it was Spren
when a
related.
good man does something angry, that is the work of Voidbringers. Right? And I was
Right.
like, okay, this is all just folklore.
Yeah.
I don't think any of that is important. Shallan asks Yesna directly about thru. Yesna says it's an incredible metropolis abandoned before Radiance turned against mankind. Why before? Why wouldn't they live there till the end?
Yeah.
I don't know. The fact that she said she didn't give much information on it.
Right.
That
Yeah.
one of the
She was
things I
kind
like,
of being elusive about it anyway.
Why that? Why that? I wonder.
Yeah. And then Shallan asks about Voidbringer. She's like, "We'll talk about this later."
Also, the Parshendi had weapons that were like made out of steel, really, really well engraved. Very fancy, very kind of advanced. But then their drums are like just like
Big,
hide
crude
strung
things,
across a freaking barrel with like a handprint painted on it or something.
Yeah.
Like. So why are their weapons so advanced? And Yesna said, "Good question," and they didn't discuss it anymore.
Yep. That's pretty much what I got for the lore dump.
Oh, really? I think I have more. Why is Yesna convinced that thru is not in Notn? I have written down.
Oh yeah.
Because Shallan said it's in Notn, right? Which is like that was the nation that used to be where the Shattered Plains are now, right? And Yesna says like definitively, nope, not there.
Okay.
Why does she?
Yeah.
Okay. Voidbringers had cast mankind out of the Tranquiline Halls and sent them to Roshar. The Dawnbringers were healers, kindly Spren sent by the Almighty to take care of men.
Yep. I was like, all right, sure, why not?
I was thinking, is that like Syl? But Syl's not a healer.
Yeah.
She doesn't heal.
Who knows?
Shallan is talking to Kabsal, and she's just giving away Yesna's secret. She's like, she was resourcing the Voidbringers, haha. Like, she's
Right,
just,
and he was like,
she's
you
loose-lipped. She's loose-lipped.
You know why she's doing that? She's trying to disprove Voidbringers so that that'll disprove religion.
And that was Kabsal being an idiot.
I was like, Kabsal,
even when he was saying that, I was like, Kabsal's just so wrong.
Right, and Shallan's like, well, maybe that. I'm like, Shallan, Kabsal's being an idiot.
Well, now it's when Kabsal's like anger came out as well. And he was like yelling about like, yeah, we're just property. We can't even own anything. Why is she attacking us? Like so many of the Ardentia today are afraid to even like call out the sins of the people who own them because they're afraid to be punished. And he was like, he was just getting angry, and I was like, ooh, Kabsal's got some rage.
Yeah, this is like this whole chapter. I was like, yeah, I don't know, Kabsal. I don't like this. I don't like this guy.
Yeah,
it's getting real suspicious.
He said that the Cosmere creates evil as gods do good, but it does not when men do good because men are dual creatures.
Yeah.
So the gods should just stop
doing anything, yeah.
Together.
Right.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And then again, if the evil and good are perfectly balanced, I guess it doesn't matter how much they do, right? They can do whatever they want, I guess, and the Cosmere will just sort of
balance it out.
Say it's all whatever.
Yeah.
So, and he said that because she was asking about like, well, who created the Voidbringers? And he was like, oh, well, the Cosmere created them as a reaction to the good that the Almighty was performing in the world, right?
Sure, yeah.
They were just his natural counterpart. Okay.
Bummer. Should have stopped till you were ahead. Good side.
He says that the heralds followed the Voidbringers into heaven to force them out after the last.
Oh yeah. Humans were.
The last.
Oh, desolation.
Desolation. Yeah. And I was like, ooh, yikes, he is not correct about that.
Yeah.
He really wanted her to have that sphere for some reason. He was trying to give it to her as a trade for her picture. It just seemed weird to me. I was like, why does he want her to have the sphere so bad?
Yeah.
It seems like it didn't really come up, though.
Nope.
I think it was just drawing attention to the sphere so that later we'd be like, oh, that's what she drew Stormlight from, or whatever. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. So then the whole thing with drawing the spooky boys happens. And then, she's like running away, and then she stops, like takes a picture, draws real quick, sees that they're chasing her, so she keeps running. I thought that was kind of fun, you know. Yeah. Like chasing of invisible things that she can only see by drawing them.
She was like, should I pull out the shard blade? No, I can't. It is the fruit of my evil labors. She said that it was that whatever dark thing she did in her past, she says that she got the shard blade as a result of that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, just cannot use that. And then, so she gets into the room.
She must have killed someone, right? She must have killed someone who had a shard blade.
Oh, yeah, surely, yeah. Don't know why, don't know why that hasn't solved some problems for her family, but here we are. So she gets into her room, and they're all surrounding her or whatever. She reaches out and she feels the thing. But I think before that, like they like whisper to her again.
They do.
And
What
I was
are
like,
you? They
Ah,
ask.
yes, right.
And she says, afraid? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that checks
Yeah,
out.
that's correct.
Yeah.
And then
so
she appears in mysterious bead dimension.
and then she figures out the soul casting kind of, or figures out that she has soul cast, but doesn't know how it worked or whatever.
She tells us
realized
that
she never put it on to do it.
blood is one of the 10 essences. What are the other 9? Yeah, she never
Oh,
put
yeah.
on the soul caster. So my guess is that this was some separate thing unrelated to the soul caster.
Oh, really?
Yes, she wasn't wearing it. She
Yeah.
wasn't wearing it.
That's true.
I think that and she consumes stormlight. It doesn't sound, as far as I'm aware, from everything we've heard up to this point, people using a soul caster don't need to like be, let me make sure my spheres have stormlight in them, right,
Oh,
before
sure,
they
yeah.
stop to use it. I don't think that's a part of the equation. So I think that she used some sort of magic power thing.
Sort of
Did
alchemy.
the soul caster totally unrelated to the soul caster she has.
Oh, okay.
And it makes me wonder, can like Szeth and Kaladin also do that stuff?
Sure.
Assuming I'm correct.
Yeah, because I guess when people soul cast, they're using the gemstones in the soul caster. But they need like the soul caster to channel it or whatever. So. Yep. So it turns the thing to blood, and she's like, "Oh, I have a great idea of how Yasna will not realize what's going on." And she thinks maybe the people in the pictures are related to the soul casting. She says, "I need a distraction."
Yep.
And so Yasna comes in, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, okay."
My word attempted suicide. Yikes. Oh dear. Okay.
Yikes, shnikes.
Moving on.
Yep.
Though I was due for dinner in the Vaden city that night, I insisted upon visiting Kolinar to speak with Tidbet. The tariffs through your thru were growing quite unreasonable. By then, the so-called Radiants were already beginning to show their true nature.
So the Radiants set up toll booths at Urithiru or something.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about, really.
Yep.
That one I didn't get a lot out of it.
Yeah, no, not a lot to say. So during this whole Kaladin's dream sequence where that voice is speaking to him, the voice had a very weird font.
Oh,
in
it
the
did?
book. Yeah, just like totally different. Had not been used for anything else before. So thought that was kind of weird.
When he was flying up above, he was describing the shattered plains. He said, they looked as if something very large had hit the center, sending spiraling breaks outwards. There was a very large plateau in the center. Someone lived there. He could see like lights as if there was like lit houses.
Yeah.
He could see a symmetry to the shattered plains. Remember earlier, Dalinar was talking about like I think I could find a pattern. If only I looked hard enough,
yeah,
remember?
that's right.
There is one, it turns out.
Yeah.
Kaladin basically just confirmed it for us.
Yeah.
So, are the shattered plains their own sand pattern? Is what I'm wondering.
Probably.
He also flew over somewhere else that looked like a giant claw mark in the landscape. That was kind of interesting. I don't know.
And
Flying
then
about some more.
at
Saw
the end
Szeth
of the
killing people.
Yep.
Standing over 2 corpses.
And then at the end, he like falls off of the storm that he's riding, and like the voice is like, "People don't ride the storms anymore."
Yeah, how dare you? Yeah, let me
I was
reread
like,
some
what
of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this voice says, "Child of Tanavast." Who is this? Have we heard this word? I don't
think so. Yeah.
Child of Honor. We have heard this word, capitalized. Child of one long since departed. What is that? What is that? Is that honor? Is that Tanavast? Are they all the same?
Yeah. Who knows?
Oof. The oath pact was shattered. Men ride the storms no longer. Men did ride the storms, but because the oath pact was shattered, they don't.
They can't. Yeah.
Okay. The oath pact was broken, child of honor. Odium comes, most dangerous of all 16. Remember, we talked about 16 in the past.
Yep.
There are 16 shards that like kind of power the planets or whatever in the Cosmere.
Yeah.
So Odium is
The spookiest.
the big spooky one.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy.
The worst of them all.
Which means he's aptly named. He asks, like, why must we fight? Why is there so much war in the land? Asks Kaladin. And the Stormfather, presumably. Right, replies, Odium reigns. That is his answer. So, here's my new fan theory.
Okay, hit me.
Every time somebody is like, the thrill makes me want to fight or whatever, that's Odium's touch.
Oh, okay.
Odium is,
right.
he does the thrill.
I like it. I like it. So, yeah, and then I'll just skip to this. This happens later in the chapter, but he asks Syl about odium later. He's like, hey, have you heard the name odium? And she, like, has a guttural, like, hiss and flies away.
Yeah, I imagine she does the cat thing. Her back arches.
She was just like, and then
and just flies
off, and he was like,
The mention of the word odium is enough to just send her off.
Odium is the Voldemort of this universe.
Zigzil is something called a world singer.
Says, which he's, like, embarrassed about.
Yeah. Rock is like, you're a world singer. He's like,
oh, come on.
Flips him off.
In front of everybody,
Yeah.
They're talking about how it's weird that the Light Eyes rule, and he's like, well, there's a society I know about where old people rule, and that's just as weird.
Yeah.
And I remember you told me about that in an airport like 2 years ago when you read this the first time. You're like, look at this cool world building element. They just mentioned this old person society.
How do you remember something that happened so long ago? Such an inconsequential thing. That's like,
I don't know.
That's actually insane to me. I think I can recall that.
I remembered it, I think because I was in that same airport. It was in the San Francisco airport. And I walked by the place where we were standing when you told me about that. I was like, oh, this is where Sam was telling me about the book that I'm now reading. Because I was reading it in the airport also, so there was a lot of connections there.
You're a freak, you're a weirdo, I don't like you.
Anyway.
Okay, Kaladin's past now. Now we're in the Kaladin past. It's a year ago. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. At this point, Kaladin still idolizes Amaranth, Dalinar, Saddeus. We see the whole thing that happened with Sen. Now it's from Kaladin's point of view, though.
Yep. And he, right at the beginning, we realized that Tien died, right? We're never shown how that happened.
Yes.
And so he's like, well, can't go home because I broke that promise, so burn that bridge.
And also, actually, by the way, now we've seen Kaladin's entire past. He never talked about his parents dying. I think they're still alive.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Surely. As far as we know,
yeah, and the only thing that really, the only new information we really got here, I think, was Sen's death throes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sen did actually die in battle, and he said he watches the Black Piper in the night. He holds us in his palm, playing a tune no one can hear.
Yeah, I was like, whoa.
What?
Sen was just like a scared kid, and now he's like, has a terrifying death rattle.
Maybe this Black Piper is another one of the Unmade or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it's odium. Who can say?
We're getting hit with just a lot of info here. Okay. Kaladin kills the Shard Bearer. About a big
cool. By just throwing stuff. He throws the knife at the open slit in the visor,
and it misses.
It bounces off, barely. But then, because of a swing from the sword that cut off the top of his spear, it's falling, and he's just like, whoop.
Catches the top of the spear right out of the air. He doesn't even throw it. He just stabs it in.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah. And I was like, this would look so cool in a movie.
This would look very cool in a movie.
Also,
put some slow motion in there.
The shard plate guy, his shard plate was golden? I thought for sure it was black when we read about it in the first chapter. So
it was gold in this one. Don't know, man. Don't know.
So I'll go back and look, but I'm sure it was the same. Maybe they didn't even mention the color.
Yeah, so
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah.
Kaladin killed the Shard Bearer. Cool.
Yeah, and then he doesn't take the shard blade, and everybody's like, why?
I feel like everything we heard here, like, it's been hinted at so much by Kaladin saying edgy stuff about his past.
Right.
And all of it, I was like, yeah.
Right, yeah, no. Like, when he didn't, I was like, sure, but everybody was just like, whoa, what? And I was sitting there, I was like, I get that you hate it, but also, why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, you could take it and sell it right away or
right,
something.
Yeah,
or, like, trade it for another shard blade. Is that an option?
Right, yeah.
If there's a shard blade...
I feel like you're not considering all your options here.
Okay.
Back to Shallan.
They take away the light wherever they lurk. Skin that is burned.
Yep.
We keep hearing a burned skin, but I feel like we still have yet to meet any characters who look like their skin is burned, except for maybe the Parshendi.
Right.
But that's just because their skin is marbled red.
Right.
But when you burn stuff, it doesn't look marbled red, except for maybe like wood, like when it's kind of burning down to cinders.
Right. When it's,
you know, it kind of gets that pattern where it's like big chunks of like black almost, right? It's like charred wood at this point.
Yep.
But then down
at the bottom,
kind
still
of like
a
inside it, you can see like red creeping up between the black. Maybe the Voidbringers are just the Parshendi.
Yeah, it's like, is this a hint to the Parshendi, or are we just racist? Who knows?
Who's to say?
So yeah, Shallan's like, oh my gosh, did that look like a suicide? I guess it did. And I was like, what? I thought that was the whole idea.
She asks, like, was I talking to the Goblet's soul? Does the Goblet have a soul? And I was remembering back to Kaladin's mom saying everything has a friend.
Yeah.
Right?
And she said she was thinking soul casting was maybe taking the spren from the goblet, convincing it to change to a different type of spren, thus changing the thing into a different thing or whatever.
Yeah,
This is all theory from Shallan as she's lying in this bed. But that was so weird to me. She was like, huh. Yeah, I guess that did look like a suicide. I thought that was the whole idea.
Yeah, that's what you're trying to do. She was like, no, I was trying to make it look like I just cut myself with a shattering goblet or something.
Right.
Well, then,
my goodness.
Then you're dumb. You don't act well under pressure. Like,
right, yeah.
Okay.
And then she's like, but everybody's keeping watch on me now. And I was like, well, yeah, of course they are.
Yeah.
But, you know, all things considered, pretty good excuse to leave or whatever.
And she definitely used the stormlight.
Yeah.
She used the stormlight in that one thingy to do the thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Taravangian comes in, and in this chapter, Taravangian does not match my prior description of him.
Yeah.
Right? Cute little Sultan King, kind of dopey.
Yeah.
In this one, he's like dropping wisdom bombs.
Yeah, he was like, he came in, I was like,
he's
this
like
is the same guy.
saying a bunch of vocab words, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like,
no,
oh,
same thing, because when he walked in, I literally, I pictured the same thing, and he started talking, I was like, huh, this is the best we've seen him so far.
Slowly, his face was just wrinkling in my mind, and he was getting taller over the course of the scene, you know?
Just looks like an actual medieval king or whatever.
Yeah, he had a cool line about, you know, she was like, oh, I'm happy to be here, and he was like, no, you aren't. This hospital is the most expensive thing a man could build, and wants so badly to see unused.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. He was,
right.
he was just like saying cool stuff all over the place. Yeah.
No, yeah, I was like, oh, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I'm down for Tangerine, whatever his name is. Tangerine.
Maybe Taravangian not so dopey after all.
Yeah. And then, oh boy, does some stuff go down.
Yesna comes in and she cares a lot about Shallan.
Yeah, I was like,
Shallan, my baby girl, I was waiting out there for you all this time. You know,
and she was like, I put my wards through a lot of pressure, and she was like, Shallan's like, yeah, I'm sorry, I was too weak, and she was like, no, that's not. I pushed you too hard.
The fault it is all mine.
Right, yeah, and I was like, Shallan, you had such a good thing going here. Yeah.
Shallan could have just like been awesome, but here we are instead.
Yep.
Okay. So Kabsal poisoned him. Turns out Kabsal was after Yesna the whole time.
Yep.
When Yesna said earlier, when she had that one line where, you know, she was like, you know, Kabsal's only using you to get to me, right? And Shallan was like, you're so conceited, and Yesna said, only if I'm wrong.
Yep.
Turns out she's not.
Yesna's never wrong. She's always right about everything.
She's not wrong. Yeah.
Yep.
So then, Kabsal poisons them. The jam was like super nasty. It smelled bad.
Right.
So Shallan refused to eat it, and it had the antidote in it.
Yep.
But Kabsal did eat it, and he still died.
Right. He just got to it too late, was Yesna's guess, because he used more of the poison this time, because he was getting desperate or something.
Yeah.
Because, he just takes a big old glob or whatever and eats it, but...
And the reason he was desperate, so he used more poison because he was desperate, because Shallan had revealed to him that she was leaving tomorrow. So he was like, oh, geez, Shallan's my in, right? For this whole poison with the bread plan.
Yep.
You know, Yesna's never going to eat this bread without Shallan around. So he was
Gotta do it right now.
Got to go for it,
Yeah. I was very stressed out. Let me just show you my notes here at the end of this chapter.
Oh, wow. That's some
I was freaking out.
Very capitalized curse words.
Yes, So he successfully poisons all of them, and then he like starts running away or whatever, and then he collapses, and then Shallan's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And then she collapses, but she's not totally out of it, and Yesna's like, oh boy, we've been poisoned. I'm gonna soul cast your blood. Get ready, that's gonna hurt a lot. And she's like, wait,
says,
you can't.
No, you can't. I stole this. And
and then Yesna's like, what? Okay.
Yeah. So then Yesna uses that on time, soul casts her blood to de-poisonify it.
Yep.
Which sounds incredibly painful, but hey, it works.
Yep.
Okay.
Then we're back to Kaladin.
Radiant of birthplace, the announcer comes to come announce the birthplace of radiance.
Okay.
That was the beginning of chapter reading.
Yeah.
It's a poem. Now you'll notice that it's symmetrical.
Yeah. It's
So that's
not super useful.
Because we've discussed before that in Veden culture, symmetry is like holy.
Right. Yep. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So the poem
did not properly appreciate that.
Reads pretty much the same back to front. Teft was trying to be like, so Kaladin, have you been feeling any super strength lately. He was trying to get Kaladin to like start talking about these new powers he has.
Yeah, and it's not like you can be super subtle
Kaladin
about it.
was like, "What? No, I don't think so, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't ring a bell."
Whatever.
So Tesh was like, "Oh yeah, I was just kidding. I just wanted to make sure you were feeling better after your almost dying thing. Remember that?" And they laughed. It was fun. And Moash is like getting really good with the spear really fast.
Yeah.
And it makes me think like Moash might do a mutiny.
Oh, really?
Moash is not a big Kaladin fan.
No.
And he's getting really strong really fast. He could be a competitor for Kaladin, you know?
Right, but I mean, what does he have to gain? Wouldn't he want to escape, or is he thinking if he sells him out, he can get something out of it?
I don't know. Maybe this is even post-escape or something.
Oh, sure, like real long con.
I just don't totally trust Moash. You know?
Yeah.
No, like, but then again, I feel like that's kind of manufactured. I feel like the way they've talked about all the bridgemen, none of them have really done anything wrong except for Moash, right?
Sure.
And Kaladin is like putting in a position of power, even despite the fact that he doesn't agree with him, and all of this stuff. Just makes me kind of suspicious.
Sorry, one of my notes, I was like, I don't remember what this meant, but I know where to find it. Does the name Vorth ring a bell?
Vorth?
Sure. Spelled Varth. And Kaladin mentions him, in this chapter somewhere.
That was just somebody that he had let die, right?
No, I think it was somebody he was like trying to like get revenge on or something. I'll see if I can find it.
What?
Yeah, it was. I was like, don't remember this name, and Kaladin didn't like him, and that's all I remember. But I was very tired at the time, so let me see if I can find that.
Okay, not yet. Push it in silence for a bit. Everybody.
Yeah. I mean, you can keep talking. I'll just keep.
No. Let's all meditate for a second.
All right.
Maybe I'll do a guided meditation.
Perfect.
Okay. Imagine that a high storm has just passed. You sit out in the consistent but light rain as it cleanses your body and cleanses your soul. A cool wind blows past you, coming from the east.
Okay.
And you know that soon the storm wall will be stripped away, leaving only behind it a pure and fresh earth. Or Roshar? It's not called Earth, is it? Are you doing ASMR now? Are you doing book ASMR? Okay, John, who's Varth?
So, I'm a little confused about this because I'm just going to read you the whole paragraph
Okay.
here. Okay, so Kaladin's talking about, like, it's okay to feel emotions when you're fighting or whatever.
Yeah.
And Kaladin remembered being there, wondering why Tux wasted time talking about emotions, Tux being the guy that taught him the spear or whatever.
Tux and the Takers. Yeah.
And he thought he understood emotion. His drive to learn the spear had come because of his emotions. Vengeance, hatred, a lust for the power to exact retribution on Varth and the soldiers of his squad. It's like, who was that?
Oh, Varth was probably the guy that killed Tion.
Ah, yes, okay.
Yep, that's my guess.
So I was like, maybe that'll come up again. Varth.
Sure, I mean, who else would he want retribution against, right?
Right, yeah. So that's probably what happened.
Because it sounded like it was some officer in this other army.
Right, because they're hardly ever fighting.
Who had killed Tion.
Yep.
So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
This chapter, he also tells Rock that he's like, hey, if you can map this place since you don't want to fight, hey, feel free.
Rock was like, okay.
Yeah, all right, sure, I'll try that. And then Kaladin, he's like, oh man, all these guys are super buff and ready to go because we've been practicing. He's like, this is the best squad I've ever had to train.
We're going to be so unreasonably strong so soon.
Yeah.
All right. And then, all right, next chapter.
Yeah.
Flame and char, skin so terrible, eyes like pits of blackness.
Is that like a Johnny Cash rendition or something?
No, I don't know who that is.
Okay.
I've never heard him speak. Like, I only know his singing voice.
Yeah.
How would that...
His singing voice is speaking. I presume they're one and the same.
Are they? Is it?
I mean, pretty much. In Ring of Fire, he's
Ring
like,
of Fire, burn,
I fell into
burn.
a ring of fire. He like throws a little in there. But it's
Oh,
like
I
almost
guess-
as
I
much
guess you're
southern
right.
twang as it is
Okay.
singing. I don't know.
Burning ring of fire.
Went down, down, down,
And
and the flames got higher.
and I'll stand up.
And it turns into a gospel song.
All right.
Anyway.
So yeah, flame and char, skin so terrible, eyes like pits of blackness. It's just talking more about how they have spooky bird skin,
yeah.
but eyes like pits of blackness.
Right. That sounds...
I don't think that
doesn't match. Yeah. No.
Or do the Parchment have black eyes?
If they do, I haven't heard that.
I don't
remember
recall.
that. Yeah.
I think I would remember that, but maybe I wouldn't.
Yeah, that sounds freaky.
Okay.
My first note.
Shallan is like, I was stealing it of my own volition, and Yesta's like, oh, you dumb. Like she's like,
yeah,
laughing.
she's like
scoffing.
She's like, you're gonna have to tell me who it was.
How stupid Shallan was.
She was like, you're gonna have to tell me who it was someday or other. Who told you to do this? You know? And she's like, no, it was my family. And she's like, oh,
you stupid. Dumb.
Yeah. My first note from this chapter was because this is actually where it's revealed that the whole how the whole poison thing happened or whatever, and I said, "Damn, I knew Kabsal was no good." Well, no, I didn't know, but I was quite suspicious.
Well, I mean, as of last reading, I think we both liked Kabsal.
Yeah, it was in the chapter where he's, the one before the bread where he was like, "It's the Void Bringers," and she's trying to disprove this thing. I'm like, you're just.
Well, it was where he was like getting angry.
Yeah,
right. And I was like,
that whole thing. I was like,
he's
not what he seems.
He's not seeing clearly. Just like Kaladin with the light eyes, his rage is blinding him.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, poor Shallan. Sure, all of this stuff happened because of her own actions, so we can't feel too bad for her. But really, everything's just done now. Like she has nothing.
Yeah, Shallan. I mean,
she has the shard blade, and that really didn't change throughout the whole thing. But
all she gained from this whole venture was some knowledge, and apparently the fact that she's getting stalked by a bunch of geometrically faced invisible men, and she can go into a dimension where everything is marbles. Yeah. Which honestly, when I put it like that is
pros and cons.
She did actually kind of gain something.
Yeah. Well, to be weighed at a later date.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hey, who knows? Maybe that'll just never come up again.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Brandon Sanderson was throwing in real red herrings for what we're supposed to be noticing.
Actually, fun fact. I know you haven't read much, but I have. Dalinar never comes up again.
Whoa,
yeah, his name is never even mentioned in there.
Yeah, he was just like, here's a fun character. Couldn't fit him into the story, but I thought, we'll throw him in. Bygones.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
I don't have any notes for that chapter. Like.
Oh yeah, I just have the two. I'm like. The one about Kabsal, I'm like, oh, Shallan, everything's messed up for you now.
Shallan just really boned it all up, didn't she? Okay.
Really, really bungled it. That's the word I want.
Bungled. She bungled it all to heck.
Bungled it all to heck.
We're back in the past, but it's the even more recent past, about a day or two more recent than last time.
Sorry, a quicker into the past.
Okay. That was good. That was quick.
Mm-hmm.
I was hardly ready. I mean,
right.
I paused for a second because I just expected more. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kaladin in the hospital. 4 of his men are left alive because the rest all died to that accursed shard blade.
Mm-hmm.
And now, this is we talked about this earlier, right? They bring it in. They're holding it on a white sheet. Everyone's so reverent about the shard blade, but Kaladin sees it and it makes him want to throw up.
Makes him sick.
He's like, oh no, the shard blade that killed my men.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
And he even says in the chapter, he's like, that was probably objectively the stupidest thing I've ever done.
What did you think of my Kaladin voice? Here,
Bad.
I'll do it again.
Bad.
Oh, no. That's a bad sword.
Somehow even worse this time.
Oh, jeez.
So I was telling you the other day, outside of podcast land, that I picture Kaladin as Silas. Like, literally the exact same appearance as Silas.
Silas is so much older than Kaladin, though. Kaladin's 19.
Yeah. Like
Silas
a younger version.
All right, Silas is a character from League of Legends.
Yeah,
he
it's
has
not
chain arms.
Exact
And Silas, by the way, looks like that one character from Avatar: Legend of Korra who escaped prison.
Zahir?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
The only difference is the hair
Zahir
color.
is so much older.
The only difference is the hair color.
So then, anyway, but then Silas says things in game, just like every character does idly. And so I picture that as Kaladin's voice, but slightly younger.
Does he sound like, oh no, oh get that
like
sword away from me?
Nope.
I do not like that sword at all.
No.
Is that how it sounds?
It's not like a weird.
Oh, jeez, guys.
What is that voice from? I feel like that sounds like something. Like
dude, I'm copying that. It's that same comedian we're talking. Basketball.
Oh,
it's like
dude, Tim Robbins.
He's come to inspire so much. Oh God.
Comedy in your life,
Luckily, I've managed to keep most of that out of this podcast.
Yeah. Do not come after us, Johnny Cash or Tim Robbins with the copyright.
Okay. Yeah, so here I had the line, oh geez, OF, Amaram is a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because Amaram is a guy Kaladin was all idolizing
Right,
him.
he looked up to him as like the only
cool
good light eyes, yeah.
when we saw him come to town earlier, right?
Right.
But now it turns out that Amaram is in fact a bad dude, and you can tell because he's having Kaladin's men killed to hush them up, and then taking the shard blade for himself and branding Kaladin a slave and a deserter. And those are all bad people things to do, right? But the thing is, he does seem genuinely conflicted about it, does he not?
Yeah, oh yeah. The whole time Kaladin's mentioned that he has like guilt in his eyes the entire time all this is happening.
He has guilt in his eyes. Yeah. He knows that what he's doing is wrong. Yep. When Kaladin calls him out on it, he gets defensive because he knows Kaladin is right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You know?
He has nothing to say.
Amaram is a bad guy, but he wants to be a good guy.
Well, we don't know that, but he knows he's a bad guy.
I think that, well, the thing is, though, if you're totally at peace with the fact that you're a bad guy, that, you know, Kaladin says, like, what you're doing is wrong, and Amaram is like, whoopsie daisy, idiot.
Yeah, he's like,
he just flips him off
and
skips backwards.
No shit, Sherlock, whatever.
Yeah, but no. Like Amaram seems upset by the fact that he's getting called out by this. So I think that he doesn't like the fact that he's being bad.
Sure.
I think that generally speaking, you know, it's been said that like he treats his army well, and it sounds like he actually does, right? Mm-hmm. So my guess is that Amaram like legitimately wants to be a good person. Mm-hmm. He's just bad at it.
I'm just saying, like, if he wanted to, he wouldn't have done this. But, you know, he realizes what he's doing is wrong.
The thing is, I think that what Amaram might believe here is that what he's doing is, like, honestly the best choice. Like, what he's saying, like, he's like saying, like, this will be good for the army. I actually know how to use a sword, right? This is how we can make the biggest difference for all of Alethkar, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he might actually believe that. He might feel like he's doing something terrible, but it's the lesser of two evils, or something. To pull
another obscure reference, he's that one agency from the show Heroes, and they're always about the greater good.
Didn't watch that.
Oh, what? Yeah, you did. You just don't remember it.
No.
You did.
Claire had the healing thing.
Yeah, see?
And there was the guy who did the paintings, and it showed Claire's dad getting shot in the eye. Spoilers.
Yep.
And that's all I remember from the show.
Okay, but you did watch it.
No,
you
John,
said you didn't watch it.
John, if it was over 2 years ago, that wasn't Sam. That was a different person. Okay?
Yeah, well, luckily I have all of his memories, and I can use them for my own personal gain.
Okay.
Yeah, so I kind of get why Kaladin hates the Light Eyes, but I think he should have taken the Shard Blade. Like, I mean, I get why he hates it, but not taking it at all, like, surely he could have seen how that would go wrong. Like, he explains, like, his other dude takes it, and that makes it better for everybody.
Let's try to get into Kaladin's head here. Let's say, all right, let's say I take a knife, and I use it to stab each of your family members lethally, and your dog.
Okay.
And you get that new cat you were talking about. I kill that too.
No, God.
And then I'm like, do you want this? Do you want this knife? It's worth $1 million.
And I'm like, I mean, no, I don't want the knife. I'm going to sell it for the $1 million and do something good with what killed my parents.
Are you comfortable touching the knife that just killed? It's still got that blood on it. Oh, you want to touch it with your hands?
This is such an unreal metaphor.
You want to touch it with your hands?
It's hard to relate. I mean, I get. I don't know. It just sounds like not taking it. You know, there were other alternatives where you could have done good by taking it.
I would have still taken. I would take the knife,
even
with my family's blood still on it.
Yeah.
Sunk cost fallacy, dude.
Honestly.
You know, you're because like you gotta look at objectively, right? Regardless of what just happened, let's look at the current situation in a bubble. I can either walk out of this with the riches of kingdoms and unimaginable power, or nothing.
Right. But with my morals more intact somehow.
Like I guess you know PTSD is a thing.
Right. But that's the thing. Yeah, he could do something with it to like create more good than the bad it caused. Probably. I'm thinking. But yeah. Whatever.
Oh jeez.
Whatever, man.
So that was just a bit of a toughie, wasn't it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's hey. Let's talk about what we're doing next week, huh?
Yeah. Getting close to the waterfall.
We're getting close to the end
of the whole dealio. I was going to look at something too, yeah.
We're starting out with interlude Baksal. Baksil? I don't know how to pronounce it. That's just the first interlude between parts 3 and 4. And then we are reading up through chapter 56, that storming book.
Sure.
And this is another no Shallan chapter. This is another all, I think all.
I was gonna check
Kramer.
who it is in this part because it was weird. It is
That's the whole
Dalinar,
time, yeah.
Kaladin, Adolin, and Navani, apparently.
And I did not
Has some
actually
sections.
type out how many words are in this, but it looks like not that many based on my eyeballing.
Oh, okay. I mean, there's not a lot of book left, so I believe it.
Yeah. And we're dividing this part 4 also into 3 parts.
And then
And
part
then
5 is like
just
a
gonna
little
be-
baby
It's
bit.
just going to be one.
Right.
So we only have 4 episodes left for this entire book.
Oh man.
Yeah. And then
Oh
we
boy.
will.
On to Words of Radiance.
Words of Radiance,
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Hey, you want this shard blade?
No.
Hold this for me. Okay.
Oh no, God!
And I'm gonna take this
Oh,
and you're a slave now.
Oh, that was dark, John. You
I
killed
do-
all my friends and branded my forehead. Why would you do that?
I do feel bad about it.
Okay.
So
Oh well, hey, no hard feelings.
Hey.
Shake on it.
have a good slavedom.
Shake on it.
Gotta do the elbow tap because of the disease. Oh, real world reference.
Whoa. That's just end the episode now. Okay.
Bye.
John, don't say bye. Just
I said bye bye.
just let it be done. Okay, John.
Scene.